What is going on, everybody? If you don't know, now you do know. You're officially tuned in to another special edition of the HFWB podcast series. This is your host, Clifton Pope, and with me today, I have a very special woman who's quickly become a very special friend. And this is a person, I'm not going to lie, when I think of the word community and unity and bringing people together and helping people out as far as for a great cause and doing it with all of her heart, this is one person that really comes to mind that I'm about to bring on, and there's a reason for that. I mean, she's pretty much known basically within her own professional lifestyle as far as literally finding solutions to help fit your needs. I mean, she is a financial professional and an insurance agent for New York Life Insurance, not to mention an ambassador for that very same thing, along with a whole bunch of other things we're going to get into, which ties into the whole community aspect. With that being said, I want to welcome my friend, the lovely Miss April Vasquez, to the HFWB podcast series. April, what is going on with you?
I'm definitely staying busy, staying very involved. A lot of people say I'm a hard person to get a hold of, but not necessarily that I don't get back with them. Actually am a fast responder, so I'm always busy, busy. They mean in a sense of just trying to get involved and be involved in any way. So
No,
for
and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. Is just getting involved and keeping your hands into something. And for everybody who is listening to the HFWB podcast series and wondering who is April, the woman, how did you become the person that you are today? How would you best describe that to those who are listening?
I became who I am today mostly because through my mom and
Uh-huh.
my grandmother, my family. Um, Throughout growing up, I was in a very Catholic home, but unfortunately, we went through some financial struggles. At one point, we had lost our home and we were homeless
Uh-huh.
for a while. But my family still managed to send me to school. They still managed to do everything of that nature. So it's actually really a great blessing in disguise. I was never disgraced by it. It was actually a blessing that God gave me the ability to see both sides of the road. And unfortunately, I lost my father when I was 11. So it was just my mom and I. So at the age of 16, I worked 2 to 3 jobs. I was involved in multiple academic things in school and for sports. I just kept believing in myself, and my mom pushed me no matter what. I went to college at St. Mary's University in San Antonio,
Uh-huh.
and I was going to school for aeronautical engineering with
Uh-huh.
a minor in business marketing, computer advertisement.
Right.
Unfortunately, some things had happened, and then the pandemic hit, and I came home. I took some classes here, and I take care of my mama proudly. And then pretty much I worked in restaurants since I was 16. About a year ago, I got the opportunity handed to me by an amazing person to go into New York Life as a finance service professional. I absolutely love it. I get to communicate, but also talk with those families and understand their needs and what it is. So it's not just life insurance. I do life insurance, long-term care, short-term care, wealth management, financial planning, 401k rollovers, estate conservation. But one of my favorites is college funding. And that's one of my main niches, but I do help everyone and everything that y'all need financially, and that's where it really takes personal, and I take it to heart because I know what it's like. So it's not just for people that have money, but it is for people, anybody. And just a lot of people are afraid because they don't have the knowledge. So just sitting down and talking with them, a couple of times until they get that understanding and that security. Because I want to build that relationship. I don't want to just be a business deal and go. I want to be there for you. I want to be there during your life events and just constantly do that. And that's why I think it really hits personal to me. I am an ambassador for the New York Life Foundation. So I am part of 11 schools and 6 different PTAs. But I'm also involved in the community even more so. I'm an ambassador for the United Chamber of Commerce.
Uh-huh.
I'm a big sister and big brothers, big sisters. I'm going to be a new member in Junior League, part
Uh-huh.
of Rotary Club. I'm a certified facilitator for the American Heart Association and part of the Alzheimer's Association. And I also take part in the Corpus Christi Apartment Association. So I'm always involved. I'm always out there in the community to help others and just talk to them, and especially in our youth, which is really important. So that's how I kind of tie into everything.
And if you heard it here first on the HFWB podcast series when I talk about how involved that April is in and how much she actually cares because, she's been there before. And it's like when you go through something, you basically put yourself in a position to where it's like, if once I do make it out of it, I'm going to share this message to someone who may be going through the same exact thing so they don't have to go through it again. Where does this drive come from, April, as far as doing all the things you're doing? It's like, because you just keep constantly going and constantly just figuring out ways on how you can get your hands into any little thing that you can. Where does the drive come from to do all of this? And there's
The
something that has to
drive,
motivate you, huh?
honestly, the drive that I come from is motivation and always seeing a difference. Is whenever you put your hands into something, it may not always be right away, but you will eventually see a difference. And that drive is pushed through just always staying motivated, always trying to help. You're going to have your good days, you're going to have your bad days. And that drive comes from support too. Huge, huge aspect for a lot of people. Um, and my drive comes, mostly from my mom. She's my number one supporter in every single way, and keeping faith. And that's pretty much something that all you can really do is keep faith and keep going and wanting to help others, not expecting anything in return. And honestly, you're blessed just like that, honestly, and
Yeah.
good things will come to you as well. It's just being out there and seeing a smile, especially on kids' faces and parents and those that have that relief look in their face.
Yeah, it's that factor of just hustling and motivating, getting your hustle going and of course motivating others to do the same by any means necessary. I want to go back to what you were talking about as far as like the college funding and everything and how much that means to you in its entirety. And I can see exactly why it does because it's like, especially if someone who's like had issues as far as just coming up with the funding and resources just to get themselves to college and now putting your heart into coming up with a program to help assist kids who may be in that exact situation struggling with the exact same thing, like what does that mean as far as the importance as far as for college funding just for the kids who are trying to get to college but don't have the funding and the resources necessary to make it happen because
Right.
it's a struggle. It really is. There was a point where I was even having that same trouble at once upon a time, but so I understand it to a certain extent. Explain it to those more in details who may not have the best understanding of what you mean by that.
So, when it comes down to it, when it comes to college funding, one thing that I absolutely love is the fact that with New York Life is that we're not just a template based. So most
Right.
companies it's template based, but the beauty about New York Life is that everything is customizable. What's affordable to you? What's at this best value? I mean, we've been around. We just hit our 178th birthday last
Mm-hmm.
week, and we've been giving out dividends to our millions of customers for 166 years, which is never guaranteed, but we've given them out consecutively. And we're number 72 on the Fortune 500. It's an amazing company. So the ability that they were able to give through this is through either kiddie policies or through adult policies. And a lot of people don't know for as little as $25 a month, your child's education can be funded by the age of 18. And the beauty part
Ooh.
about this is that it's all tax free. A lot of people think that insurance is just a death benefit, and it's actually your own bank. And that's the beauty
Yeah.
part of it is that you can borrow against it when you need to. You have an emergency, you have things to do. But the tax free money is actually really awesome because when they turn 18, fill out that FAFSA, they fill out those college applications, it won't affect their eligibility for income wise. That's extra money that they have. One beautiful policy I did a couple of weeks ago, she's 1 year old, and The grandfather wanted to actually put in $50 a month, because you can put in as much as you like at that point,
Mm-hmm.
and she will have $98,000 to go to school, when she turns 18. So, and it's really awesome. He can always add more money sometimes if he wants to do so, but that money is completely tax free. And the beauty part of it is just customizing it. And we did that through the mom to help fund for the child, or we can just do the child as well, because that's something that's really, really important.
Yes, it goes back to just saying it's never too early to start saving for college. And that's just a great program. And as far as being able to customize it any way you want, I mean, if I wish this option, I was aware of this option personally, maybe 10, 12 years ago, they would have probably made a little bit of a difference in my life. But
Most
that's
definitely.
incredible just to hear stories like that and just how you could easily just impact somebody based off of just what you're able to offer them and stuff. Is there a
Most
certain
definitely.
situation? Is there a certain situation, April, that sticks out to you as far as what you do for many of your clients that you have? Is there like a particular one that sticks out to you to where you look back at it and realize I'm really making a difference and yes, I'm a lot better at this than I thought I would be. Is there any that sticks out to you that you could think of, April? I know there's a couple.
Yeah, I mean, there's a couple ones. So, like I mentioned, that one's my favorite. So, that's something that he
Right.
did as a gifting for his granddaughter. So, you don't just have to be the parent. You can be a family member and do that too for someone. It's called child gifting.
Mm-hmm.
Another one is a couple of, they're two brothers on the complete opposite side of town.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, their family doesn't have that much money, but just talking to the mother and having her understand the situation and just giving her that knowledge and just education. Education is so important. And we were able to get something done so that when her boys turn 18, she doesn't have to worry about that, because that's her most important thing to her is her children. As all my clients, their first thing when they come in, their thing is, I'm worried about my child. What about something happens to me? What about, what are they going to do? Because I want to make sure. Unfortunately, inflation is just getting higher, education is just
Yeah.
getting more expensive. And that's
Mm-hmm.
one reason why I like being in the community, because I'm involved in all these schools. They have me go talk to different parents, at different events and doing stuff like that of that nature. And I enjoy talking to the parents, of course, but I also wanted to touch base on the children's side as well, because what's the point of setting up a funding if there's not that motivation? So, for
Yeah.
instance, that career day, I actually, of course, had you as one of my guest speakers, and I'll be having another one at Bayweb Elementary um, in the next 3 or 4 weeks or so. And just giving that motivation and having them be there, because children, they're visual. A lot of them are
Yes.
visual, and seeing those things and
Right.
encouraging them. When I was younger and I wanted to be in aeronautical engineering, I picked up a book about constellations in the fourth grade, and I went home and I enjoyed space, and I was like, Mom, I want to be an astronomer. And she was like, okay, you can do whatever you want to do. And then when I got into middle school, I was in sixth grade and actually placed in advanced math. So I put it together and I was like, I want to do this, but in engineering, So it's just all about keeping that motivation, but also works both ways. There's so many children out there that have that motivation, but unfortunately, they don't have the funding to go to college. Had my mom known about this when I was younger, back in the 90s, it was like $7 a month. So, had my mom known about that, it would have been very, very beneficial. Just a lot of people don't know. A lot of people feel as though that they don't have. They get scared to ask, and I don't charge, or neither of us charge for you to ask, or just have a conversation, but just
Yeah.
understanding what your needs are. And that's the most important, is just understanding you and your situation and how I can help you, because I've been there, we've all been there. And honestly,
Mm-hmm.
all the agents at New York Life have actually came from that background, somehow, some way. And that's why we are absolutely motivated to help others, and especially in our community.
Yes, and it just simply just comes down to one simple word to sum up everything you said, April. It comes down to just security, making sure
Mhm.
things are secure as far as that funding for college, making things are secure as just overall any lane and area as far as that they're dealing with from a financial standpoint because it's like we all want to make sure we have basically the necessary essentials for survival as far as the security aspect. Then they want to get to the whole flexibility to where they can have a little bit of wiggle room to where they can build up those fundings if they want to where they can establish some sort of financial independence and eventually get towards what we're all trying to get towards, which is financial freedom. It's kind of like a four-step process as far as like this quote unquote money game that we're all in to a certain extent. For anyone who's like having trouble just getting their finances in order, April, as far as to everything that I just described, what would be a go-to key piece of advice you would tell anyone who's listening to the HFWB podcast series right now?
My best advice is don't be scared to reach out and just ask questions and just take literally 20, 30 minutes of your time and just ask of what it is or explain your differences. And I know everyone's super busy, everyone has children, everyone has work, but I have seen it from, especially from a lot of the older agents, that just taking that little bit of time in a course of maybe an hour to 2 hours, the whole extent period can actually help and be beneficial, because as years go by, it gets more expensive. The older you are, the more expensive it is. If you're male, it's a little bit more expensive. And also health as well. You could be fine one day and from the next you just don't know what is in store for you. So that's what's most important is don't wait. Definitely reach out. They can call or text me anytime. My phone number is 361-413-1590. Or they can reach out to my Facebook page, April Vasquez, licensed agent with New York Life, and just message me or talk to me in any way, and definitely see what options are there for you, because there is options, and that's the beauty about New York Life. And what I'm capable of doing is making sure to see how I can help you to the absolute best of my abilities.
The world is a much better place, April, when we have so many options to choose from. That's for sure. When people have like the more options people have, the more comfortable they feel, to where it's like they're not as stressed out as far as having to stick to this one thing. They can have an option just in case they don't like that one particular thing. It's a beauty of it, that's for sure. We're actually at the point, April, where I'm going to basically ask you like a list of questions that I ask everybody who comes on to my podcast. And I'm going to tweak them a
Okay.
little bit for yourself. The
Okay.
first question I have for you is this, April. What's the first thing you do or think of you wake up every single morning?
Who has emailed or texted me? um, so
That's
I
how I know
literally,
you're busy, April, when your mind is constantly working like that and you're like, who texted me?
literally,
Who emailed me?
I
Who
wake
left
up and I
me?
always have at least a minimum of 20 notifications of emails coming in, of people texting me.
I
I have
love it.
clients that I make myself availability 7 days a week, anytime they need anything. Emails coming in, events. The other morning I woke up and it's like, you have 12 events to go to today. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not going to go to all 12, but we'll see what we can do. And what I can do, and will help in every way. But definitely the first thing I think about is I got to get dressed and I got to start doing administrative work. I got to get on my Zoom calls and I got to work. I even sometimes dream about me working, honestly. I'm not going to lie. So,
That is dedication to a whole nother level. And I kind of had a feeling that was going to be the answer. For those who don't know, who are listening to the HFWB podcast series, April is literally one of the busiest people I know. And when your mind's constantly going 24/7, I got to do this, I got to do that. That just goes back to the overall hustle part as far as the hustle and motivating factor. And I love it. I really do. My next question for you, April, is when you think of these two words, health and wealth, right?
mhm,
What is your
yes.
own personal definition of those two words to you personally?
So, health and wealth. So, that's one reason why I absolutely love the work that you do, because what we do is kind of hand in hand. So, health, it's super important to be healthy, super important to go work out, go do something every day, because that's your mentality, that's your knowledge. And the more that you feed yourself, your health wise, and you eat properly and you keep up things, then it's better for you, and also helps you beneficially in other things, even in my line of work. The healthier you are, the least, you'll get the best rates, you'll get the best everything, and we'll be able to pinpoint everything that you need financially, because a lot of people just don't think it's just about finances. It's how is your health? How's your expectancy of living? How is everything of that nature? And then, of course, wealth, managing that. So, managing wealth is so important of what you do. Sometimes you got to make sacrifices. It's
Uh-huh.
honestly, it's a lot of things are sacrificial. You got to sacrifice now to have the fruit of the loom later. And that's one thing that I absolutely love. And I actually go off of a pyramid, which is the three layers in my line of work. And the first layer of building wealth is the foundation, making sure that you have that concrete information. You're setting that insurance. You're making sure you have health. You're making sure that you have everything of that nature. Then there's the accumulation, which is in the middle of the pyramid. So as time passes by, your wealth is growing in your policy through the cash value. So there is cash value growth in your life insurance policy that in a few years from now, you won't just have your death benefit that you picked for $100,000. I went up to maybe $180,000, but you also have an additional $65,000, $70,000 that you can utilize for anything that you want. So it's like, as I was saying, like your own bank account in a way, but
Yeah.
you're building that. But as that time grows, you're at the top, which is where you enjoy it. You're in retirement. You are watching your grandchildren walk the stage and going to college with, what you set up, the college funding policies that you set up. You're in retirement. You're leaving a legacy, and you're at peace. And all goes back to, literally all goes back to your health.
Yeah.
So if you're stressing about finances, you're not going to be healthy because stressing causes, a
Yeah.
lot of things. Well, it
Yeah,
causes
it
a lot of
does. I mean that's kind of the whole reason why I'm putting together this festival that I'm putting together, my Too Blessed to Stress Festival. For those who are listening to us before I do it exactly on April the 28th, and those who are listening to it afterwards, basically the whole purpose of the festival is for me to, of course, show people how they can cope and manage their stress because it
Mhm.
feeds into their whole generational health, which in turn will lead to generational wealth, which basically goes back to health and wealth being two sides of the coin. They go in hand in hand. It's like I heard a wise man once say, "We're all so worried about our careers all the time. Do you ever think of your health?" Like, it's a serious question. I mean, I'm not trying to be like sarcastic or anything, but it's a
No,
very
it's
serious
absolutely
question.
true. It really is
It goes
absolutely
hand
true.
in hand, and most people, like you just alluded to, April, don't understand that, and that's kind of why I'm doing the things that I am doing because I'm trying to show you, hey, health is wealth. I mean, let's not forget that, y'all. Let's not let that get lost in all the other distractions that are going on and stuff. But I want to ask you this, April, and this is going to be kind of like on a either or kind of vibe as far as which one would you rather choose. The first
Hmm.
question I'm going to ask in regards to that is, would you rather choose loyalty or respect?
Would I rather choose loyalty or respect?
Yes.
I would rather have respect, I
Uh-huh.
think, because respect is so important in any situation in life, in our work, and everything that we do. And a lot of times, you and everyone else that's watching has encountered, there's people that we don't care for in our line of work and things that we do or meet. And we honestly have to work with them no matter what. And whether
Yeah.
you care for someone like that or not, you still got to respect them and their boundaries. That's so important. Loyalty is extremely important as well because both, you caught me on that one because I would really love both,
It's one of
but
those hand in hand things. It really
it,
is. Like,
it really, really is. It's one of those hand in hand things. And it's all about, what it is that what we can do, but I would really have respect because the way you treat me is the way I treat you.
uh-huh.
And but even at that, I've had lots of people come at me in different unprofessional ways or do things that are not the best or very professional. Do I put it out there? No. Did you disrespect me? Yes. However, I'm still going to keep moving forward, keep my head high, and I'm still going to respect you because it's all about not being who's the better person, but just, showing that not exactly that you are better, but I think you understand what I'm saying is that,
I do.
Is that
it
you
goes back
are
to
better
just
than that.
having class. Yeah,
Yeah, keeping
yeah,
that
and
class.
that's
There
what
you
you're
go. So you're keeping it
symbolizing.
classy, and that's so
Yes,
important, especially what we do.
yes. We're going from ashy to classy these days, and that's what it's all about at the end of the day. My next question for you is: would you rather, April, live in space, or would you rather live in the ocean?
I think I would rather live in. Well, I don't know. I've always loved space of that nature. Hold on, my computer is dying, and I want to make sure it's not it. Hold on, let's see. 1 second. 1 second. I'm so sorry. Can we pause for 1 second? I need to go get my charger real quick. Is that okay?
Yes, yes,
Okay,
yeah.
1 second. I'm on. I promise. 1 second. Okay. Can you hear me?
Yes,
Okay.
we are back live on the
Sorry.
HFWB podcast series. That's what we call adjusting and adapting, but we were talking about as far as if you rather want to live in space or live in the ocean, and you mentioned that you loved space because of what you do and stuff.
Yes, I love space. It's just beautiful. Um, but I guess there's really not that much to do. And I'm actually going to be kind of funny about this because one essay I don't care for English, well, for English class or writing class
Mhm.
growing up because I was a math and science person. But my very first um, tax test, because it was tax back then, for
Mhm.
writing was, what would you do if you lived under the sea? And that actually made me think about it because now that I'm thinking is maybe in the water. I think that would be nice to see all the beautiful things. Maybe the water like in Hawaii or something. Not just seeing the beautiful fish. And if I was able to interact with them, I think that would actually be really cool. And of that nature because you have other people there or other things there. So I think that would be my answer would be I think I would live in the water. Um, yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that at all. Would you rather be famous and poor or anonymous and rich?
I think I would be well honestly money doesn't I mean it means something to me because we all need money to live, but
Of
it's not
course.
the most important thing in the world. Um,
Right.
so I
Right.
would rather remain anonymous, I would think, but not necessarily rich, if that makes sense. Because to me, the most important thing in the world and the most powerful thing in the world is love. And that's something that I always
Mm,
take heart is because as long as you love
yes.
what you do, doesn't matter how much money you make, as long as you love it, that's what matters.
Yeah.
And honestly, for everyone that's in out in the community, people like you, people like me, and other volunteers that are involved in our community, we do it out of love. And
Hmm.
that's what's the change. That's what makes the difference is what comes from our heart. And that's
Yes.
with anything that we do, in my opinion, is so I guess it's not really picking either or, but I'd
No.
rather remain anonymous because I'm not the kind of person that's like, oh, hey, and then like taking pictures, of like
Yeah.
someone
Yeah.
that's, going and helping someone that's in need or needs money or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
of course, in our line of work, there's always pictures and different things that we're doing for the community. but especially when it comes to personal things, because I do help people that's
Yeah.
in the shadows too, that's nobody's business, what it is
Yeah.
that's personal, because people have helped me in that way as well, before in the past, that is really no one else's business, and that's what really means the most, is not going and telling people those things. So
Yeah.
um
It
yeah,
goes
but
back to just
honestly, it all goes back to love, in my opinion, is
yeah.
loving everything that you do, and loving people, and love your community, and love your family and everything.
Yeah, I was just gonna say, like, it goes back to, like you just said, love, and at the same time, just doing a good deed out for the sake of the heart. That's the most important thing for sure. And I also feel like one thing that definitely brings people together is like, listening to the right music, to kind of set off the right vibes and everything. And where I'm going with this, April, is you say if you were like on an island, right, and you were stranded on an island, and you can only listen to five music artists with their whole entire catalog of music for the rest of your life, who would they be and why?
Okay. Um,
And that's any genre.
Gotcha. Any genre. Okay. Well, my favorite genre is country. Not gonna lie. I actually like it a lot. That's it. That's a good one. That's a really tough one. I think I would really love George Strait, because he's the king of country, but he's real and talks about what comes from the heart. And I think that's why I love countries, because everything's
Ooh,
realistic.
yeah.
Everything is true, and a lot of people don't like hearing country. I think what it is because it's all realistic things.
Yeah, it
Um,
is. It really
it,
is.
it's you can cry, it touches, but it's true. It's
It's the
absolutely
truth.
true. Not saying that other genres don't have that, but just saying, from that nature, you know. So, and then another artist would be, ooh, you really got me on this one. um,
No, just
Trying to think.
who comes to mind other than George Strait that you could think of?
Another one could be, trying to think, Mercy Me. Um, because my absolute favorite song in the world is If You Can Only Imagine.
Hmm.
That is my absolute favorite song more than anything in the world. Um, because I just have that really close faith and close touch with God ever since growing up. Um, and that one really touches to me. Another one could be, gosh, I absolutely love Jason Aldean. He's still realistic, but he does have songs that are motivated, but they are still realistic. I do love Luke Combs, and Luke Bryan. So I love both of them very much, just because I think a lot of them are just real of who they are, about their family, about their wives, and of what they love and the things that go on.
That is a very powerful playlist that will definitely keep your party going on a
What
stranded
is going on?
island for sure. That I can't even argue with you on that one because it's realistic and it's the truth, and that's what country music is. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, I listen to country music from time to time just in case I want to kick back and maybe hear like a message or something just to have it on in the background. It's very, very relaxing at the right times. It really is. I know this for sure, April, that one thing a lot of us like to do is we like to travel. We like to get out and go places. Name some places that you travel to that you name the places that you travel to and where would you like to travel to as far as your favorite places and stuff.
Okay. Traveling wise, I am not gonna lie, I've never been out in the state of Texas. Um, I've always just been real close to my family, and
Hmm.
I'm always busy,
Yeah, of course.
So, but I love Austin. I love San Antonio. Um, and I know I have a lot of family in the valley. So when I was younger, we would go to the valley. And in the
Hmm.
sports I would do, our state tournaments would be in Austin or the valley. And I absolutely love them. They're beautiful. Lots of things to do. If I had to go anywhere, it would definitely be Spain. I think the culture is
Ooh.
beautiful. I think the way that they live is beautiful. And just getting to know their culture.
Hmm.
In addition to Greece. I think Greece is so beautiful. The islands are beautiful. The water is just, I, I believe it's more than crystal blue. Um, it's absolutely breathtaking, and that's somewhere that those are the two main places that I'd really like to go to someday. And then travel to California because I think it'd be really nice to go see what California's like and all that and see their beaches and as well as in Greece and everyone's just like, well, April, you're from Corpus, so you have the beaches, but you, as you know, our beaches are nothing like over there
No,
at all.
no.
So
There's levels to it, and there's a certain level of quality that is attached to within those beaches. And I wouldn't mind going to California myself just to actually experience the beaches myself. And Spain and Greece aren't bad choices either. You're not the first person who's mentioned traveling to Greece or going to Greece on my podcast. It's just something about Greece that everybody loves, and plus, not to mention the food and the culture and all that
I,
stuff.
I just think the simplicity of it. There's so
Yeah,
it's so there's a lot of simplicity that I think that's what makes it attracting. It's not like Austin or San Antonio, or anything of that nature. But one other
yeah,
place I would like to go is Seattle, Washington, because I love the rain. And
yeah.
it rains over there, and just to go kind of look, and then also maybe New York, because of course, New York Life. I would love to see the office, but also go look at the museums and just go and learn because knowledge is key. You're never
Yes.
too old to learn. Um, and I think it'd just be nice. I mean, that's how you get smart is by traveling. That's how you
Yeah.
get knowledge, in a lot of different ways and trying the different foods and just seeing what's there besides what you are already accustomed and used to.
No, I agree with you 100% on that. We definitely got to get out and explore the world and see it for what it is in our own vision, in our own way to truly learn and grow and elevate within our own life. I know this, and if you haven't, if for those who are listening and haven't figured it out by now, April's literally one of the busiest people that I know. Like, I'm not kidding you. But when you're not doing the things that you're doing on a regular basis, name something that you like to do that many people may not know you like to do, as far as hobbies and stuff, of course.
Gotcha. Well, one of my hobbies is sleeping, of course. I'm not gonna lie. I love to sleep whenever I'm not busy, and I don't get to do it very often. Not gonna lie, I love to sleep.
Oh,
So
man.
I'm just being honest because I'm an
No,
open
I
book, if you
respect
ask
the
me.
honesty. That's what
So,
we're about here.
so definitely sleep. But one thing that I like to do is listen to music. It gets just keeps me energized. It keeps me going and motivated. Um, I love to cook. Well, I like to bake. Okay. So I'm definitely a baker. I have a really good hand for it when I have the time to do so.
Mhm.
Um, I've had lots of people tell me that they would pay me to make them some of my crinkle cookies.
I was
I
just
have,
about to ask you, April, what's your go-to baking recipe? And you just said it, crinkle cookies, I see.
mhm.
Huh.
Yes, I do
Okay.
orange and strawberry and lemon and banana. But they're crinkle cookies and they're really, really good, super easy to make. But I absolutely love making them. And lots of times, especially during the holidays, everyone's just like, hey, you're going to make your crinkle cookies. Or I'm in a group text message and they're just like, this person's bringing this. And they didn't even ask me yet. And they're like, April's bringing her crinkle cookies. And I'm like, okay. I'm just, I was
It's like,
already nominated, not asking if I could make it or not, but I guess I'll do it anyway or I'll drop them off. But yeah, I love baking. I get that a lot from my mom. She loved to bake. And I remember waking up early in the mornings and man, it was like a bakery. She had brownies and she had pies and she had different things because she couldn't sleep in the middle of the night. And she would just bake when she had the chance to and the abilities to. And then also my grandma, she used to be a wedding cake decorator when I was younger. And in addition to just baking as well and her secret recipes and her different things that she would do. And I think that's really awesome. My sister got more of the cooking side, not saying I'm a bad cook. I can cook, but
yeah, I got you. I see what you mean. Baking is where your heart is, but I can get down in the kitchen and cook some things if I have to. I see what you mean, April. I got you. This is my last question for you before we wrap everything up. This question is based off of this. Say if you had the opportunity to go back in the time and talk to yourself, I don't know, 10 years ago or so, what would you tell yourself? And at the same time, where do you see yourself in the next 10 years?
Okay. If I could go back 10 years ago when I was 15, I would, I've thought about this before, I would take the consejos or the advice that, you know, my mom was giving me and
Hmm.
my grandmother was giving me. Because, as of course, when we're 15, we don't want to hear lectures and we're just like, yeah, okay,
Yeah,
but
we'll figure it
they're
out on
telling
our
us,
own, that type of thing.
yeah, but they're telling us for a reason. When I was 15, it was just my mom and I. If I could go back and change anything, it would just, I mean, other than, gosh, I don't know. That's a really good question. I think it would just be taking advice that people gave you and taking the chances and opportunities. Now I know for sure if an opportunity is presented to me, I definitely don't wait on it. Someone offered me an opportunity the other day, and within a matter of an hour, less than an hour, I was able, got it done. And they're just like, oh, wow, we told you an hour ago. They told me to go the next day and to go talk to someone and go do something. I didn't wait because I've had in the past where I've given opportunities and I was too scared because there's fear. We all have fear, of change. But I like change though. It was
Hmm.
just some things I should just jumped on. And as
Yeah.
far as myself in 10 years, I will be 35 in 10 years, God's blessing. And I see myself as um, being successful in a manner that know that I'm officially for sure okay.
Hmm.
I want to have my home. I don't want to worry about, we all worry about bills no matter our financial situation, except for those that are, but I want to make sure and have security, that for sure security that I have. Um, I hope that I have God's blessing. My mom's still around to see me do that. I want to have a family. They told me that I was going to have difficulties having children, but I believe everything in God's hands. So I hope to see myself as having a family and having a home and coming home and just being able to relax and just have that because nothing's more important than family and that
Hmm.
love for your family, but also love for yourself as well. Um, so that's where I see myself in 10 years is just maybe, going to Austin. I thought of maybe moving to Austin. That's one thing that I want to do, or just move in general. I love Corpus Christi and the coastal bend. I've lived here my whole life. But just something for a little bit of change and a little bit more opportunity. It's something
Yeah.
bigger and just keep moving forward and help other people as well.
That's well said. Just keeping things smooth in the community and just really just enjoying the simple things in life. That's for sure. Well, April, for anyone who wants to get in contact for you for your overall services, your overall work as far as what you do, or just to simply have a conversation for assistance and lifting up. I know you mentioned they can contact you on Facebook, and you mentioned the phone number for earlier. Go ahead and repeat that just in case for those who missed it on earlier in the
Gotcha.
podcast.
So they can contact me at 361-413-1590. So y'all can definitely call or text me anytime for any questions or just reach out. And of course, my Facebook page is April Vasquez, a licensed agent with New York Life.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm also on LinkedIn. I have Twitter, but I don't really use my Twitter, so I'm not gonna lie there. But the best place to reach me for sure is my phone or Facebook, because my hands are always glued to those two at all times. So those would definitely be the best ways. Or if y'all are located in Corpus, my office is located in the Claybird Bank off of Staples and Williams,
Mm-hmm.
5350 South Staples Street. Suite 101. So it's the first office to the right hand side, and just ask for April. And if I'm not there, then they'll call me, and I will get there as soon as possible. Because I've had people do that before. So as long as you don't mind waiting for me to get there, I will get there. But just contact me first, and I think that'll be the best way to set up something so that it's convenient for both of us.
Well said, April. I love it all. I enjoyed the conversation. I just want to end with this final note. If anyone who's listening who's had that disencouragement as far as getting out and making a difference within their community. If I can do it, and if April can do it, so can you. And that's the message I feel like is most important, is just getting out there, getting involved, and doing it out of the sake of just healing with love for the greater good of the community, and just bringing people together in all unity. And I feel like that's the best way we should end this episode, honestly. April, with that being said, thank you so much, April, for taking time out of your busy schedule just for blessing us with an appearance on the HFWB podcast series. It is all love every single time.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for having me. It was such a
No,
great pleasure for giving me the opportunity. I absolutely love it. And I was glad that I was able to share my story and what I do to help inspire someone else, because it's all about inspiration, as I mentioned. And that's for any age, not just children, but that's for anybody to
I
get up
love
and
it.
just help one another.
I love it. And with that being said, I appreciate you always, April, and for everyone listening to this episode of the HFWB podcast series. This is your host, Clifton Pope. Y'all stay healthy, wealthy, and blessed, and keep on hustling and motivating, y'all. Peace and love.